Last time we spoke, you came out with some real good information, and we thought we'd get you back and ask you some more stuff on the subject of compassion fatigue. So thank you for spending your time. And we also thought we'd give you a cup of tea.
Yes.
So do you like it?
Licorice tea. It's unusual. It's very nice, actually. I'm surprised.
Oh, yeah?
I'm surprised.
Would you buy it? It's supposed to soothe the nerves.
Probably. Not for I wouldn't have it on a daily basis, but every now and then it's good.
It's great medicinal stuff.
Oh.
We have 3 more questions for you. Compassion fatigue. It seems to be a bit of an issue which an awful lot of employers haven't got a grip on at the moment. But as you found with working with your clients, it is really a problem that needs to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
But many people also suffer from other forms of fatigue. So can compassion fatigue actually compound on fatigue, or is it all part of one big puzzle and just labeling fatigue?
I think people have many different roles in their life. Would be a father or an employee or a spouse, whatever the roles are, and it's important we keep all of those in balance. If one aspect of some part of our life is out of balance, then generally we can cope because everything else is okay. So we can focus on the one that's out of balance for a while and deal with that. If you have several that are out of balance, then you don't have the capacity to deal with all of those issues. So if you have compassion fatigue, that has a lot of people, when they get compassion fatigue, isolate themselves because they don't have anybody to talk to, no one else understands them. So now they're dealing with that issue that they don't fully understand themselves, or have no idea about. And therefore any other issues that occur get compounded, and the ill effects of everything else is magnified because they don't have the capacity to deal with that, because this compassion fatigue is there. Compassion fatigue is a kind of a silent thing. It just kind of creeps up on you, and a lot of people don't know that compassion fatigue exists, and therefore they are feeling isolated. They're feeling disempowered in some way. They can't control what's going on. They feel they're a victim of their circumstance, and therefore they can't cope with anything. And so certainly compassion fatigue has it's going to make every other small part of your life that's not going well amplify.
So it's really a starter for depression, anxiety.
Absolutely. And people like to be in charge. They like to feel as though they're in charge and not being victimised by something. So if they're not in control of any aspect of their life, and compassion fatigue puts people in little boxes in their own minds, then everything becomes a much bigger problem. So it's important that employers, when they work in and they have staff that operate in an area where compassion fatigue is possible, stroke probable, that employers educate the staff as to what compassion fatigue looks like, feels like, so the staff can say, oh, I have compassion fatigue, I'm not a nutter, I'm not just a crazy person, I'm not thinking all these crazy things and yelling at the kids for no reason, now I can understand why I'm doing it. Cool, now you understand it, now you can start working through it. But say most people don't know that compassion fatigue exists, therefore they don't understand the symptoms or what's causing the symptoms. All they see is, I'm a bad person now because I keep yelling at the kids, or I can't sleep, and that affects other things. Now I'm driving badly, or now my job is not going very well because I'm not feeling very well, I'm not sleeping, and my relationships either at home or at work are suffering, or probably both, because of compassion fatigue. So it's vital that we understand that compassion fatigue exists, and we teach people what it looks like. And often people feel better just knowing that it's not just me, I'm not crazy after all. There actually is an ailment, and it's quite common, undiscussed, unspoken. And that helps them understand, or helps them feel better, just knowing that it's not me, it's the situation. Then you can start working on implementing tools to make it better. But just knowing that it's a sickness or an ailment that's recognised by some is a good start.
So let's go back to the employer. Should employers be aware of the tools. And are there actually tools out there for employers to use which they can implement to assist their employees to overcome this issue?
Absolutely. There's a lot of training out there that can help, and not just in compassion fatigue, and now it's starting to be called resilience training. And WorkSafe New Zealand have put out a flyer recently talking about what's essential in terms of the employer managing hazards. And then the next level is not essential, but it might be soon, which is helping people understand health issues and obesity, that sort of stuff. And then the third level is saying, we'll probably get to this at some stage, it's not legally required right now, and that's about resilience training. So having the tools and the capability to be able to cope with the life stresses that come up at you. So how do you cope when someone says something nasty to you, when someone backstabs you, when someone crashes into you, whatever? How are you going to mentally cope with these issues as they occur? And so it's really about looking after the person, their mind, their body and their soul, not just their health and safety physically. It's about their mind as well.
Do you think that we have gone too far with the health and safety at Work Act? Because if you remember, there was that lady that we presented to last year on health and safety, and her comment to you was harden up. Mm-hmm. And a lot of employers that I talk to in the role of looking at health and safety, etc., they actually come back and say, I think it's gone too far. Do you think it's gone too far?
I don't think the law's too far. I think people are scaremongering and therefore going too far. I was reporting on the radio recently about, they shouldn't have kids going to be billeted at other kids' houses. And we're going to stop that because the Health and Safety Act tells us we should. And that's not the case at all. You're saying, they can't climb trees anymore. The Act doesn't say that at all. So people are knee-jerking to the excess in some areas. But in other areas, no, quite the opposite. They're doing nowhere near what they should do, because again they're looking at safety rather than the health, and safety is very important. In New Zealand we're killing a person a week, so because of poor health and safety. So safety is vital, but it's the health stuff that gets people as well, and so it's vital that the people understand what's going on, and that employers manage that aspect by giving some form of support around resilience training to help people out.
So what advice would you give to an employer moving forward so that they can deal with and handle this new element of health and safety?
Care. Do health and safety like you care. If you care about your people, if your employees, you think about them as if they're a member of your close family. If you see a member of your close family feeling bad or doing something that is outside of their norm, they're looking unhappy, they're looking worried, hopefully you'd go to your family member and say, what's the matter? Can I help you with that? Same thing with work. And it's not okay now to say, just leave your problems at work, leave your problems at home, because that's not going to happen. When you tell someone to harden up, they do exactly that on the outside. They just lock themselves down on the outside. The issues are still inside. They're still causing all sorts of turmoil, in fact often worse, because now they feel that they're not allowed to talk to anybody. So they harden up on the outside, which means that the bad stuff inside can't get out and doesn't get out, so it actually makes it worse, not better. So suppressing issues is not the right way either. It's better to get it out. And sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes you might feel anguish over a particular situation that is not real. So it's better to get that out and discuss it with someone. Someone will say to you, let me explain to you why that situation is not real, therefore you don't need to feel the anguish or whatever over it. You go, cool, got it now, excellent. And then the problem goes away. But if I hadn't discussed it, it would just sit inside me forever, festering and creating all sorts of issues in my mind, and now I am yelling at the kids or crashing the car because I'm not concentrating on what I should be doing because I've got this burning issue in my head. But if I discuss it with someone, they explain that I shouldn't have that issue for whatever reason, I go, cool, makes sense, excellent, and now let it go. It's a whole important thing about letting stuff go is vital as well. And there's a lot of resilience training. When someone does something, when something happens, let it go. Don't say, I remember you said this 2 years ago. Well, why the hell are you thinking about what happened 2 years ago? It's not now. It's not in the moment. let things go. If it doesn't happen, okay, had an argument 6 weeks ago, you don't have to remember what it's about. It's gone, it's over, it's finished. It's not useful to your operating right now. Let things go. A lot of people don't. They hold it, they keep it. They log it away for further reference, and when we have an argument next, I'm going to bring it back and chuck that one at you again. Well, why the negativity? Let the stuff go.
I'm kind of thinking as well that in a healthy organisation, you're going to have issues and challenges between employees, because that's what happens in life.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about, as you just said, letting things go, but people hold grudges. And I understand as well that another aspect of compassion is having the wisdom to let things go.
Mm-hmm.
So for an employer to come to grips with all of this, it is a real leap from looking purely and simply at KPIs and financial outcome. So does the employer and managers also now have to be almost like a psychologist, or a softer approach as being like a counsellor? How far do they have to go?
They have to create a safe working environment and a healthy working environment. How they choose to do that is dependent on their situation. It's particularly, I don't think it's as hard for larger organisations where a manager is a paid manager and obviously he's got a job to do, but he's a manager. I think it's a little bit harder if you own a cafe and you've got 3 or 4 staff and you're the one making the coffee. You're actually working in the business. It's hard then to sit back and say, oh, Stacey over there is looking a bit unhappy. I want to know what's going on, and have a bit of a chat to her. That's a little bit harder when you're the one in the business doing the work, and people are demanding another cup of coffee. But for managers, we're managers of people. We lead people, we manage things. That's an important distinction. Managers should be managing things but leading people. So how do you lead people is by understanding them. And therefore every person is different. Every person needs a different leadership style generally. And if two of your subordinates have got issues with each other, then you've got the issues of turning a blind, or opportunity to turn a blind eye and let them sort it out themselves, turn a blind eye and let them not sort it out for themselves and have it just languish and become worse probably, or get the 3 of you together in a room and say, right, let's nut this out. And often, as long as parties continue to treat each other with respect, then they can deal with any issues. If everybody feels the same way, then we don't need everybody, right? It's important that we have people having different opinions, because that's where synergy comes. If you and I feel the same way, then one of us is redundant in a problem-solving environment. So it's important that we have different points of view, and conflict is fine as long as it's well managed and it's done with the foundation of respect. I don't have to like you, as long as I respect you, that's okay. We can work together just fine. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to necessarily go out for meals with my work colleagues. Nothing wrong with that. But as long as we can do a good job together because we respect each other, then that's cool. And so that respect, that management, and getting to problems early, don't let them fester. Getting in there first before they would get bigger, and before they compound and make other aspects of your life now unstable. So we've got to get in there and get it fixed and get it done, and then move on.
You've mentioned a couple of things. One is staff as compared to people. And you said you manage assets, but you
lead people.
Lead people. But most business owners, they say that the people that work within their business, the staff.
Yes.
And my perception of that is that as soon as they say that, they're sort of looking at their people as physical assets.
Yes, as a chattel.
As a chattel, when in actual fact they're not. They're people who need to be respected and regarded.
Absolutely. And so you can buy someone's attendance by giving them their wages. You can't buy their dedication. That's got to be voluntarily given, right? And the way that they choose to volunteer to give you that discretionary effort is you've got an alignment of goals. So if I can have an alignment of goals with my staff, with my people, then they're going to go the extra mile because they want to, because they agree we're all heading in the right direction together, we're all doing a great thing together. Yay, isn't this a lot of fun? Yay, let's do this together. But if I'm treating you like a spoon, I'm treating you like an asset, well, you're just going to come in there and do your job. I'm going to pay you the minimum I can pay you to make you turn up, and you're going to do the minimum amount of work to stop me stacking you. And where's the productivity in there? So it's much better when we can align our values between the management and the owners and the staff and the whole, everybody, all the stakeholders. If we can be aligned, then we get that discretionary effort that's given for free.
So this compassion fatigue, if you thought of compassion fatigue like a big tin can with a lid on it, by taking the lid off it, it's actually opening up a number of major challenges for a business owner. But if he sees it in the right light, it's actually an opportunity for him to actually move the business ahead and to, more importantly, move his people ahead.
Yes.
And make them healthier as well as the business. People
want to contribute. People want to do a good day, and they want to enjoy what they're doing. So if everybody's aligned and we're all heading together, so we're all in the same canoe, we're all paddling in the same direction at the same speed, then you've had a lot more fun at work. Therefore, you're going to contribute a lot more, you're going to be a lot happier, you're going to treat the customers a lot better.
Yeah.
Because you're happier. You can treat your other colleagues a lot better because you're happier. Even if someone does something that's dumb, you'll forgive them because you're happy. Whereas if you're on a downer, when someone does something a little bit dumb, you're going to jump on them. So it's that whole, in order to get a sustainable, optimal performance, we need to be respectful and be heading in the same direction.
I just wonder as well as if management or business owners got a real good handle on this compassion fatigue and understood how it was involved in the health of the business, what effect that would actually have on employment disputes, absenteeism, presenteeism, and what would be the financial results to a business if they actually started to see themselves as facilitators for people rather than holding the big stick up to the chattels being the staff.
Absolutely. And as soon as you hold the big stick, you've always got to hold a big stick. Because as soon as you stop holding a big stick, they'll stop working, right?
Yeah.
Whether that's real or just the mindset of the manager is irrelevant. But if you can align your people, set them jointly agreed targets and goals and direction, you're just winding them up and they'll run without you. They'll just run whether you're there or not. They'll do the good stuff whether they're there or not. They'll treat your customers well. You don't have to teach them how to treat customers well because everybody's a customer. You're a customer, I'm a customer. They know how to treat customers because they know how they want to be treated. You don't have to run courses in customer service. Just make them care by treating them well, and they should be treating customers how they want to be treated. And so a lot of the issues disappear. People don't get the compassion fatigue because they don't have the anguish, they don't have the issues, because it's a more positive working environment and all their personal goals are being met. And they feel part of a team and respected and valued and that kind of stuff.
How are the courts going to judge this or make a decision?
Well, courts are 18 months behind the issues, right? So for the next year they'll be still holding court cases around the Health and Safety at Work Act 1992. So we won't know for some time. And this is, for New Zealand anyway, this is a pretty new area of life in the universe. It shouldn't be, because it's absolutely normal, it's absolutely humanity. Yeah. It shouldn't be strange, it shouldn't be hard, it shouldn't be difficult, but it is. So I reckon we're several years away from courts understanding this themselves. So
this is really something that needs to be done, put in place for business owners to get used to it, because it's a work in progress. Yeah, and it's an ongoing thing, right? Yeah. It's an ongoing thing. So, but you don't need a lot of techniques. Just do it because you care.
and then you'll do it automatically. And so you'll think, well, what's the best way for us to do? Oh, we should have a meeting. Okay, how long should it be? Well, maybe we only need 15 minutes, and we'll get, okay, guys, what are we on discussing in this meeting? Okay, well, I need to discuss this as the manager. Cool, what do you want to discuss? Well, okay, excellent, you're going into the issues. Well, I hate the way that we do that. I hate the way that Stacey put that over there. Okay, Stacey, what do you think about that? Cool, let's get it done. Let's get it out of the way. Okay, let's move forward. Job done, moving ahead, and now the issues are gone. So, and everybody's happy. And if you hold a grudge against someone, it's normally only the person that's holding the grudge that gets hurt. The person that's being grudged against doesn't even know it. So they're not affected at all, because they don't even know that. I don't know you don't like me, so it's only burning you up, not me.
Yeah.
So we get it out, and then everybody's happy and they can move forward in a positive way. Make people better and happier at work, they'll be better and happier at home. And therefore, they'll be better and happier at home, therefore they'll be better and happier at work. It's a positive cycle or a negative cycle.
Yeah. Have you looked at the subject of mindfulness?
Yeah, and that's all part of it. So mindfulness is kind of in the now, in the being present, and you know, letting things go and that kind of stuff. And resilience is a different aspect to that, being what techniques and what mental games can I use to not let things get me down, because crap happens, right? Bad things happen in everybody's life, and mindfulness is around how to not let it affect me, what's happened in the past, and not worry about too much of what's happening in the future, and that's all very good. But when stuff does happen, then what?
Yeah.
That's when you need the resilience training. So they're both very useful. We need both of them.
Yeah.
But they hit our heads, but from different angles. And they're both vital, both important. But how many employers know that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's important. I want to work with the clients to help them get their businesses sustainable. i.e. getting everything, all the plates spinning consistently, not just for once and for all, where it's working now and then we'll look away and it falls over. But you got to do it sustainably, and therefore it's alignment of goals and getting people working together.
Right. Well, Keith, thank you very much for another magic time. And I hope you really enjoyed your tea.
I did.
Your cup's empty.
It is. I didn't throw any away. I drank it.
No, I know. Well, thank you very much. So, trust you enjoyed that and you got a lot more information out of it. It's a really interesting subject, and I think it's a necessary component of running any business today, more so than just understanding or having your insurance policies. Because if you have healthy staff, you have a healthy environment, you have people that are in the moment, they're not suffering from fatigue, they're actually proactive, productive, and they're a necessary part of your team. They're people, they're not staff. So thank you very much, and we look forward to the next time.